Welcome back, guys, to my channel. I'm following up on some interesting feedback I've had. A lot of people have trees in development for bonsai, like next steps on what to do. So I'm sure lots of you have trees that look like this. They might have a really nice trunk or nice base. You can see on this tree, the nebari, the root spread is really fantastic. You see that beautiful, fantastic nebari at the front of the tree. It's got some very subtle movement up, and then it's just a mess of branches, mess of everything. So this tree is in development. I don't want to say it's just been sitting on the benches, but it pretty much has. It's just been sitting on the benches and growing. Nothing too much with this tree. However, it does need, at this time of year, it's a good idea to have a look and see what you can play with. Now, the branches are way too long. Only branches you want to keep at this time of year, the ones you want to, if you want to, for example, grow out a branch and make it thicker and heavier, etc. And now's the time to leave it and let it grow. But again, here, this is now, what I like to do now is actually take off the branches I'm definitely not going to use, that have grown too big this year, and try and get a bit of wire on some of these branches to push them back down a little. A lot of the lower branches are just going upwards now, and I don't like that. Obviously, I don't like that look. You need the branches to go a little bit down and then come back up. So this is an exercise of going through the tree and taking out things that have overgrown this time of year. Try and zoom in a little so you can see. So you can see the mess up there in that spread there. So I might leave the camera at that angle and try and show you bits and pieces around what I like to look at and like to do at this time. So that's predominantly the front. I mean, you saw the good nebari. That's pretty close to where I like to see the tree and how it should be viewed. Now it's a matter of building the branches of this tree. Now the apex is just seems to be not really taking off. There's no big strong leader, which is good in that sense, but we need to start to develop a bit more in the apex. The side branching has lots of nice side branching, and the back looks okay too, which I'll show you. But at the moment, first thing I'll look at is things that I want to remove off this tree. Now I'll leave the camera there and I'll try and show you bits. Hopefully you can see nice and close. So I just pretty much look at the base of the tree. Now sometimes I don't really cut. So you can see these are nice and fine and twiggy. So I might actually just wire all these into position. This is a nice branch that comes off here and then forks again. So it's 1, 2, and then 2 again. So it's 4 branching, which is good. However, do you see this guy? This big shoot that's sitting on the top? It's just not going to be beneficial. Even if I wire that, it looks terrible. I'm hoping maybe you get another little bud or something a bit lower down. There's a bud at the bottom here that might come out. But that's the first thing I do is get rid of that. Now, I'll use my branch cutters for that. Make a nice clean cut. There you go. So that's the first thing that goes, and you can see already this nice silhouette is back. So you got this, you'll have a nice branch in here. Now around here, we've got this really heavy first branch, but then the one's just sitting on top of it, just about. So I just have to maybe maneuver that, wire it away. I want to keep it, but all the branching's too long, and it's too thick and there's 4 in one spot. So what I do with these ones, I take the one that's on the top out. In this case, I might leave that. No, let me see. I like this bottom one that can be wired out, look better. So I might take this big guy out. And let's have a look. So there's still 3, and this is too much heavy in the middle. So I left the 2 side ones, but they'll be cut back and reduced, because that's all you need. A nice little short one in here, and we'll develop that. This big guy, I'll wire that with some bit heavier wire. I wanted to get it down and then come back, so you can see the bits that are, this has got three branches in the one spot again. They're all too long, and the internodes are too long, so regardless how long I want it, I'm going to cut them back, and it's not too bad. So you got these 2 that will be wired down to make the 2, and then you got these 2 on the side. So I could leave it for now, the side ones, this guy and this guy. I'll leave them. I think they'll be fine. But then I'll just need to wire these two down. Just let's reduce some of these, because we're looking at internet. Reduce some of these, reduce some of these. So pretty much the front of the tree is done. I'm going to wire these guys out and maybe cut it back a little bit because the internet is too far. But yeah, then this is nicely formed into 1, 2, and then 4. And I'm hoping just to follow that process on this branch. This probably form the quickest. This will be the quickest branch to form to a nice where we want to go. So let's have a look at the back of the tree. There's this really ugly branch that, what's that doing? So you're gonna have to look. So this kind of branch is a bit weird. It's like slooping down. I mean, it could be interesting to keep it, but it doesn't make sense and doesn't really grow right. So I'm gonna take it out. So you got, so again, nice branch here that if we wire down a little bit, it's forked. So let's just reduce it. The internet's too far, so we've got a nice small branch. Again, another one here, which is good. These will be wired and make, a back branch, so that'll come up nicely. Again, this one, just fill the silhouette. Again, it's 2. I'm going to keep them, but I'm just going to reduce. Now I have multiple small ones in here, so I think we can leave them for now. There's no harm in getting rid of them and see how they develop. They could fill in nicely, so I'll leave them alone. That's the good guy. Now we get towards the top. Now the top's a real mess, so we need to really look at what we can keep. We don't want to keep too heavy stuff at the top, but again, I'll just move some of that around. Really, what I like to just do is reduce everything in terms of the branching. We know the internodes are way too long anyway, so if I come in, first thing I do is start to reduce some of these back to the first lots of buds on the branch, and then we'll see how it looks. Sometimes I leave the little ones, but not in this case. Now I'm just going to leave this guy because if you look at the flow of the trunk, that looks like where the apex will eventually sit if it's in the middle. So I want to leave one guy who's strong just to see if I can get strength in that area and to build that little bit of area up. So that's why I'll leave him alone. I'll take the side ones out. Now this guy's way too heavy, so I'm going to take him right off. Again, the side ones are there. And this guy, let's have a look. So I don't like the one that's going up. Got to get rid of him. And these guys will just reduce. So I don't know if you can see the total difference now, but you can try and see we're starting to build some of the branching, get them in place and things like that. So it's pretty much a trimming exercise, trimming back the things that you're definitely not going to have, definitely not going to keep, and working with it. So I don't like this branch at the moment, but there's lots of nice small stuff in here that looks interesting in the future. So that'll probably go because it looks terrible. It's really bothering me at the moment. But I'm just leaving that for now. Oh no, I'm not. Oh no, sorry. Change my mind. Definitely, I'm going to take it off. I just don't like it. I don't think it'll ever form yeah, it looks much better. Now I've got little buds in here. I'm sure I'll have buds in here. Come up in the future. So that's better. Oh, feels so much better now. Something with bright seat. Sometimes you don't know until you trim it off. Have a look. So there's a nice back branch here as well. I'll just reduce the little twigs on that and get it looking good. So that's pretty much what you do in terms of trimming in autumn with trees that you are developing. So if you don't do this, the branch will just get longer and longer, and it gets heavier and heavier, and you get less ramification, and you can't really build your tree properly, and you waste another year. So you really need to always be on them. Like I should have done more work on this throughout the growing season, but when you have to work full time, and you got limited time in spending with your trees, you can only do what you can do. So that's pretty much it for the trimming. Now I'll just put some main wire on the tree. So I want to start to develop this branch. I know this is ready. I want to get this guy down, but I'm pretty much going to leave the rest of it alone. I'm only you can see already, I'm only focusing on the the lower branching, got to get that right, and then we'll build the rest of the tree in the future. So pretty much, I think just wire the bottom ones, these guys, into shape, and hopefully start developing them this year. And let's see what happens with the rest of the tree. These are nice and twiggy still, easy to maneuver. You could wire, could not, but it doesn't matter. We want to get some movement happening, and we want to get some growth happening. But these two, I think, yeah, definitely starting to look good and getting right. So sometimes you just got to build a tree a step at a time. First step, get the lower branches. Maybe that's what you want to work on. That's how I do it. I can never do a tree in one go. That's impossible. So this is about, let's build what we can and where we can. So I'll just get some wire on this tree and I'll show you what I've done in a few minutes. Okay, so what I've done is I've just wired up this small branch here, as I mentioned to you guys, and I just put some slight curves in there, slight bends, nothing too extravagant, doesn't need it. With this guy, instead of wiring it with a heavy piece of wire, I don't really like having huge pieces of wire on my deciduous. I put a little guy wire here tied up to a back root. You can see there, should be able to see that quite easily. Actually, when I did that, I noticed that I had two really fat, if you remember, two really big branches here. This one actually ended up going down. There was one that was going down, and I chopped it off before I decided to put the camera on, so missed out on showing you guys that. Sorry about that. But it was just, when I wired that down, it was pretty obvious this branch was pointing downwards. Anything pointing downwards like that's got to go. So don't be overwhelmed with all your trees. Just do it step by step. So now you can actually see there's some sort of, you can probably see now the development's going to start and how it's going to happen. I don't want it to go too much down, but I want it to come out here eventually. Same with this one, to give you some sort of canopy, and then, form a nice big deciduous canopy around this tree. This guy is probably very important. I want to see if I can get lots of growth on that guy. Give him every chance to grow strong. That should take off, and it should fatten up this little bit of an area here to get this apex to start to develop. I didn't touch it, I didn't wire it, didn't do anything, just didn't trim it. So hopefully lots of energy goes into that. If I keep this tree trimmed up throughout the growing season, then maybe this guy will start to take over and develop quite well. So that's pretty much it. That's all I want to show you today on this tree. So if you've got trees like this that are in development, great nebari, great trunk, but you got to start working on branches and you don't know where to start, just think about taking off things that you don't see in the future of the tree. Things aren't growing right, things that grow unusual, up, down, too heavy, just have a look at the tree and start to rebuild it. So that's where we're at with this tree, and hopefully we'll see it in the future again. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Subscribe to my channel as always so you can get notifications of new videos. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.